great example of a math problem that is actually pretty hard until you draw it, and then it becomes pretty easy. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to get all the information that's in this paragraph about fruit flies into a picture diagram. And I think then it's going to become pretty clear what we need. So I'm told, first off, that there are 127 fruit flies. So I'm going to write that on the outside of this box and say my total number of fruit flies is 127. Next, I'm given some information about them. So it looks like 46 of these fruit flies have a genetic mutation that makes their wings curly, which is not great because then they can't fly. So not very useful for them to have this mutation. So I'm going to put that information right here under curly wings. That is 46, and that refers to this whole circle on the right side. And then I'm going to go find the information about their yellow bodies. So yellow-bodied flies are not super common, but they do happen. So those guys are right here. 23 fruit flies have yellow bodies, which I assume doesn't really matter, but it's just something interesting. So we're going to say 23 equals their yellow bodies and 46 equals their curly wings. And then it gives me a little more information. It says, now there are some fruit flies that have both of these mutations. Okay, 13 fruit flies have both yellow bodies and curly wings. So if I find a place on my Venn diagram to put that, it's going to be the intersection of these two circles. Okay, that's 13 fruit flies that have both mutations. And now the question is, how many fruit flies have neither mutation? Okay, if you think about the brown bodies and the straight wings that were the leftovers, how many of those do we have? So the way we're going to approach this is visually using this diagram. And I'm going to start with the curly wings over here. If I say the number of fruit flies with curly wings is 46, and there's 13 of them that have curly wings and yellow bodies, I want to know how many have curly wings but not yellow bodies. So the natural color of a fruit fly. And that's going to be 46 minus 13. So that's 33. Okay, so that 33 goes right here. That's the number with only the curly wing mutation. And likewise, if I come over to the other side of my diagram and I say, how many of these fruit flies are yellow-bodied but they have straight wings? Okay, that's going to be 23, the total number of yellow-bodied fruit flies, minus the number of both, right? The number that have both mutations. And that leaves 10 fruit flies that are yellow-bodied but straight-winged. And now I have a lot more information in here that I can use to figure out how many fruit flies are brown with straight wings. In other words, they carry neither mutation. So the way we do that, let's pick another color here, is we're going to say total, which is 127, minus all of these three numbers that we've built up here, minus the 10, minus the 13, and minus the 33. That's the ones that are left on the outside, not inside these circles at all. Okay, that's the number of natural fruit flies that are left out. So that, I did the math previously on this one, that comes out to 71 fruit flies.